We are living in the fifth dimensional consciousness where we are creating our reality faster than we can imagine. And 95% of our lives are run and created by our subconscious programming. Imagine how your life will be when that 95% subconscious programming is set to attract, manifest, and create everything you desire. Would you like help to change yours? Join Tamra Oviatt in Living in Fifth Dimensional Consciousness here on OMTimes every week, where she will connect to the source energy and change your subconscious programming by deleting your negative belief systems. Tamra is the founder of Sacred Activations, a subconscious meta-programming process that rewires your brain and shifts hundreds of your belief systems so you can break away from lack, pain, and suffering and take control of what you want to create in your life. Tamra has helped hundreds of thousands of people worldwide, and she is here to help you too. It's not about fighting what you don't want. It's about creating what you do want. And the only way to do that is to change and upgrade your subconscious programming. Let Tamra help you create magic in your world. Join her now for Living in the Fifth Dimensional Consciousness.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to OM and my show today. I'm here with Cindie Ambar, and I'm so excited to talk to Cindie. She's absolutely amazing. I've known her, I think, since 2014, and she's absolutely incredible. And she is a pet psychic and a pet healer. And so welcome to the show, Cindie.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. You guys, Tamra changed my life and really helped me get this all started. She is amazing. So I'm really excited. She's a friend and someone I really look up to so much.
Oh, thank you so much, honey. I love you too. And I'm so excited you can join me today. You know, Cindie's been a pet healer for years, and that's what she wanted to focus on, and that's what she works on. I mean, I want to hear about your big cats in Africa that you work with.
Sure. Do you want a little background information first, or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So, most of my life, I've been a nervous wreck and a type A personality. And so the work I've done has been very analytical, very, evidence-based, research focused. And I literally had to get hit over the head to become a healer. So what happened was I was working with healers who kept saying, if you don't leave that job, something bad is going to happen. You're going to get really sick. And so I ended up having a really severe concussion. I was not healing. And, I was doing acupuncture and those sorts of things, but I'd never worked with an energy healer before. And so a friend of mine referred me, and I was a little skeptical, but that day I finally started to heal. And this woman, Anana, saw the healing potential in me. And so that's how I got started. With respect to animals, when I was young, I lived in a house that was next to a big open field, and people were always dumping animals. And one year we found these little kittens just soaked in water and mud, freezing to death. And there was just like something that was awakened, in me that day. That's just like, no, I have to do something about this. So yeah, I work with animals of all kinds, all over the world. And I've literally worked with a lot of very interesting animals. And yeah, something that's brought a tremendous amount of magic into my life is working with a big cat sanctuary in South Africa. I need to go to see these guys one day, but so I've been working with lions and tigers and jaguars, and I had before, but just not so consistently for a little over a year. They are magnificent beings, and it started out with us doing the healing work for them and with them, and they are taking on this role now of supporting animals, all animals on the planet that are, entrapped in zoos and other places, and working on the issues.
The lions are?
Yeah, the lions. There's a couple Sumerian tigers and jaguars and a mountain lion, but they consciously work with us to work on the planet. And, for them, a lot of it, because a lot of them have come from really tough situations, it's about entrapment and poaching. But they are magnificent beings. Like every animal, they heal us back all the time. And it's so magical when we work with them. All these other beings come in. It's like they want to be a part of this. They want to be a part of transforming the earth. And really, that's why animals are here. They're incredibly sacred, sentient beings, and they have a mission. They help us with our life's purpose, and they're here to heal the planet. And I feel blessed and honored to be able to work with them on that.
Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. I know our cats, we have 4 cats. Mike has 2 and I had 2, and we came together and we have 4 cats. And they're very healing and they're magical. I mean, they make us laugh every day. Every day I have to pet 4 cats.
Poor thing.
Stuff. Yeah, you helped me save my cat.
Oh, Cocoa Puffs.
Cocoa Puffers. Yeah, he got it was this big situation where we brought the cats together and they were living together for a year, but they weren't. Cocoa Puffs would like hide under the furniture and stuff when he came in. He didn't really feel at home. And Mike was gone for a couple days, and Cocoa Puffs decided he was going to be king. Oh, and I wasn't feeling good. And so Cocoa Puffs tried to beat up Pelucci, and then it ended up knocking the spirit out of him, really, is what happened. And he ended up being in the hospital for a couple of weeks. And I talked to Cindie, and she helped communicate with him because I was a mess. Here's my Cocoa Puffers that I've had for 7 years. I love them so much. And she communicated with him, and he healed. And I saw him one day. I was sitting by him, and I wasn't sure if I was saying goodbye or not because he was so skinny. I thought he was going to die, and he was just out of it. And I think he was really out of his body. And I was sitting next to him, and I saw him open his eyes really big, and then he opened them again. And then when he did that, he came back into his body. And all the information you gave me about him needing his own kingdom and everything you did was absolutely magical. I really believe you helped me save my Cocoa Puffs. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's an honor. That's an honor.
So I just really want everybody to know that if you have pets and you need help with your pets, I mean, communicating or healing or anything, you got to call Cindie. I mean, she's absolutely incredible. And she's really, really beautiful. I've known her for years, and you're a really beautiful soul. You really are. And I'm so happy to know you. And I want people to know that about you, how amazing you are.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think one of the reasons animals are so responsive to me is that they know how deeply, they're loved, and that I have no judgment. And yeah.
So tell me about, I know you're out working in the sanctuaries all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So you go work with the horses, and you work at different horse farms. What do you do?
Yeah, well, I have, my animal healing and communication business, but I also do probably 8 to 10 hours of pro bono healing work every week. And I've got a horse sanctuary. I've got a farm sanctuary that has lots of horses. And then I have the big cat sanctuary, and that's a regular thing. And then, friends and I will hear something about like this horrible zoo that was, shut down in the Midwest, and we'll reach out to those animals and do healing and communication. But yeah, the pro bono work is really where my heart is. I have to live. I like nice jewelry. So I have my business, but yeah, I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of animals. I've worked with, animals of just about every kind. I've worked with crocodiles. I've worked with,
That's cool.
Emus. The farm sanctuary I used to volunteer with had ostriches and emus and, alpacas and, all of that. So, by doing this work and also having been, a nervous wreck until I was like 44, till I met you just about, I have a real passion for working with animals who have been traumatized. And it's one of the things I really specialize in. I'm kind of known as an expert for fearful, anxious animals. But yeah, I just, and these are places because a lot of my clients are scattered all over. So these are places where I go out and I have physical contact with the animals. And then my friends and I visit zoos on a regular basis and talk to and do healing work with the animals at the zoos, because we don't consider the animals at the zoos to be owned by anybody. And it's super cool because they'll come over like really close to us. A rhino once ran towards us. There was a snow leopard that walked all the way across her enclosure and lay down right in front of me with just like a 1/4 inch of glass in between us.
Nice.
And
That's so beautiful.
it just gives it just gives me so much joy. And I finally gotten to the place. People out there that do what I do, if you don't have an activation called bleeding heart, you need it. Because, you can really get kind of, too caught up in that sort of thing. And, especially in my Reiki lineage, I'm trained in 18 different healing modalities, but it's like, we don't see something as some poor, pitiful little thing. We see all the courage, all the strength, everything that being has to bring. And that's a simple thing that you can do with your own animals, because then they can start to see that in themselves. And in fact, I was once working with a young horse that no one had been able to touch. She was 6 months in the same location. The person that fed her every day was one of the kindest human beings I've ever met. And I went out to see her a couple of times. And, the first time she was kind of like creeping towards me and got close enough to sniff. The next time, she hung around with me, but if I even so much blinked, she'd take off running. And the third day, I chose to focus on her courage. And when I did that, she walked right over to me and she let out like this huge sigh. And then she was breathing, like almost like hyperventilating for a few minutes. And then she fell asleep for like an hour. Wow. And when we finished, she came and put her head on my shoulder. No one had been able to touch this mare. And so that's the power you have with your own animals, to really see the wholeness underneath whatever is showing itself on the surface to be, because every being is whole.
So. That's really beautiful, Cindie.
I just, I would do this. Okay, folks, I can't do this for free, but,
No, of course not. And, money's energy and you have to see it as that.
Yeah.
All it is. It's an exchange of energy.
Exactly.
So, and you deserve to be paid for your time.
Absolutely.
I mean, would you go to work at your old job and not get paid for it?
No. There's no one.
You have to be paid for your job.
Yeah.
It's so important.
I am, but sometimes I have a hard time balancing the pro bono and the other work because my heart's in both. It's like just because the animal has a loving home and nice people doesn't mean that they're happy necessarily. So
I know. Pro bono work is very important. Absolutely.
And I work with animals on the physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental and behavioral areas. A lot of my business is with animals that are having behaviors that their people would rather not have them have. And one of my greatest fears as an animal communicator, my animal communication mentor, her name's Netta Whittel, she's amazing, was telling us this story in class about a cat that had loved the husband, but suddenly started peeing and pooping all over the husband's clothes. And she had a session with the cat, and the cat said to her, he's seeing other women, I can smell them, and I'm pissed. And so Netta had to tell this woman, you have to honor what the animal says, and the people can take it or leave it, right? But she had to tell her this, and thank God the woman had kind of suspected it, and so it was actually helpful to her. But it's just like, as an animal communicator, you hope to God you never have to tell someone something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's perfect, because she needed to hear it. And that's how she got the message, was through her cat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just a general note about animal peeing and pooping in the house, for the most part, it is an attempt to get your attention, to give a message, because, animals have limited ways of doing that unless you're an animal communicator. But if an animal pees or poops on your side of the bed, your sweater, your pants, it's about you, and you need to figure out why.
Oh yeah. I had a cat that, way back when I was married before, she wasn't allowed in the bedroom because my husband said, he was allergic to cats. He had this.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, when she'd get in the bedroom, she'd pee on his pillow. And then I told him, you don't have to be allergic to cats. You can let that go. I didn't know how I knew that stuff, but I just did, And do you know that cat started sitting on his lap while he worked on his computer, and she'd sit there for hours? Isn't that sweet?
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and he was no longer allergic to her.
I love that. I vaguely remember you telling that story. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's so funny. So, I saw a video that you posted, I think it was yesterday, about some grizzly bears.
Oh yeah. So this was at the Oakland Zoo, actually. I took my nieces and nephews, and I think like I said, when we go, animals come up. So the grizzly bears were literally like a foot in front of us, and they started wrestling with each other and putting on this big show. And my little nephew Connor is going, I want to find the next animal. I want to find the next animal. And I'm like, Connor, no. So they were wrestling and wrestling and wrestling, and then they ran over to the pool, and we went over there, and one of them came right up to the front, and then they were clowning around with each other in the pool. I mean, they were just putting on this whole show for us. And so, yeah, it's really, really fun. It's like, even if for folks out there that don't think of themselves as healers, there's a lot. I mean, Tamra has really powerful activations for animals. There's really a lot that you can support your own animals with.
And Cindie is a practitioner, and she can run them for you.
Yeah. And I teach, if you're anywhere near the San Francisco Bay Area, I teach Reiki with animals. And I'm teaching a class October 22nd and October 23rd. It's on my website in Felton, California. And that place we play with horses and donkeys and potbelly pigs and goats and wild turkeys. It's just hilarious there. Like, my notes dropped once and all the goats rushed it. And so I picked them up like this, and someone took a photo, and it's like the goat, they were looking at the paper like they were there in class listening to intently, but they really just wanted my paper. But anyway, like, Reiki is very easy to learn. Tamra teaches in such a way that's so accessible that it's actually, I think even people that don't think they are capable could absolutely learn through Tamra as well. But yeah, I love to teach.
Fantastic. Good. So you have a class coming up in October,
and
you only teach that in person?
That one I only teach in person. I teach other classes. I teach a bonding with animals class in person, but I do have other classes like I have a great 4-hour class on supporting, nervous, anxious, fearful animals. And what a lot of people don't realize about so-called reactivity and aggression, it's really just boils down to fear and a lack of confidence. And so, if I have 3 or 4 people contact me interested in that class, then I'll, schedule a class. And I probably will schedule one this fall in general, because it's something people really need, because animals with anxiety really suffer.
Yeah. What would you tell people with animals with anxiety?
Yeah, well, I'd say look inward first. They really pick up on our own energies, pick up on our medical conditions. Like, I have clients with diabetes whose cat has diabetes, or, some other condition. So it's learning how, there's, having a meditative practice, trying to calm your mind and meditate, or just even breathe deeply for a few minutes before you take them to do something they would consider to be stressful. Understanding that even though we may not be able to hear what they're saying, they know what we're saying. And so, you can tell them things like, no, this is okay, you're safe, this person is a friend of mine, or what have you. And it's really important to prepare them for events like people coming over the house, or you going on vacation, like well ahead of time. It takes animals a lot more time to process that kind of information. And, when you do that, you say, let's say if you have a dog that's considered aggressive or whatever, I don't like that term, but, you let them know about a week before, okay, Susie's going to be coming over,
A week before, huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
a week before. Susie and I have been friends for a very long time. She's a very kind person, blah, blah, blah. And then, when it's 5 days away, you can remind them. And also, people tend to, people are so handsy, right? And they tend to rush animals. And that can really mess up a relationship beginning between someone you love and your animal companion. So just simple things like sitting, letting the animal come to you, not looming over, but kneeling. Petting heads is a little dicey because there are quite a few animals that have been smacked on the head, and as a general rule, more animals than not don't like that. But really looking at your dealing with your own stress, there's a lot that you can do. I have a couple of free energies on my website, and I've got like a meditation, being peace with your animals. Those are in the resources section, and they're free. So they're really calming. I've got Tamra's Mother Earth activation up there, my recording, that's very grounding. There is, flower essences can be extremely helpful if you have a really nervous, anxious animal. There's a product called Animal Relief Formula. You can buy it at all sorts of health food stores. And it's a flower essence, so it's not an essential oil. It doesn't interfere with anything. You can't do it wrong. And, 4 drops 4 times a day on a treat, in food, rubbing it between your hands and petting it on. I have seen a lot of transformation with just that and my free resources alone. So, and on my website, it's $15. I think I have a guide for nervous, anxious animals with
that's nice.
Yeah, a lot of tips in there. And, that's really my passion, having been so plagued by anxiety most of my life. So yeah, there's some free resources there.
So you no longer have anxiety. You're doing good?
Oh God, yes.
Fantastic.
I feel so at peace and in so much joy and bliss. I mean, constantly. And the thing is, my animals help get me here. Our animals are our teachers. They have very wise things to share. They'll tell me she really needs to love her or us in a communication session. She really needs to work on loving herself more, or it would be really helpful if she began a meditation practice, or he or she has gifts that they have yet to discover. It's amazing how much they understand more about us than we do. I mean, unless you're a very conscious person. So,
yeah, I think they're little angels. Seriously. They're here to help us. Yeah.
Yeah. And with like the anxiety, it started with my cat Pookie. And I had an animal communication session with her. And I wasn't a communicator then. And I practically needed therapy after that, because she said things like she didn't sit on the couch because she wanted my husband and I to sit closer to each other.
Aww.
And that I thought too much. And the animal communicator said, when she gives you that look, and I'm like, oh my God, I know the look. It is a dirty look, no doubt about it. And so that was her signal that I was overthinking. And so I started to pay attention to that. And as I started to pay attention to that, it forced me to start to get up out of my head back into my entire body. And so that's how I began to understand how to get grounded. And it's continued with my cat Gabby now. Like if we have our special hour 5 to 6 where we go outside together. And if I start like thinking or like multitasking in my head, she'll walk away from me. So, and she'll tell me, you're doing it again. And so they really helped me get there. But I would say more than anything, the energy work, especially sacred activations, totally changed my life.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. We're going to go to break. And we'll be right back with Cindie, and we'll continue this amazing conversation.
All right. See you in a bit.
OMTimes TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. OMTimes Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, OMTimes offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an OMTimes magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on OMTimes TV and broadcasting it across the extensive OMTimes radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. OMTimes. Open yourself to the possibilities. Do you want to go deeper into sacred activations, which is a subconscious meta-programming process? Tamra Oviatt is inviting you to visit her website at tamraoviatt.com to sign up and get lifetime access to free 7 activations that you can listen to anytime you want or as often as you need. If you like what Tamra does and like to incorporate sacred activations into your life, she also offers live webinars, masterclasses, and practitioners training to further support your healing, manifestations, and expansion. There are hundreds of activations on her website that address different aspects of your life: money, health, relationships, intuitive abilities, and more. Head over to her website at tamraoviatt.com and experience the magic of sacred activations. Thank you for listening.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Hi, welcome back, everybody. My guest, Cindie Ambar, absolutely incredible animal communicator and healer and teacher. So thank you again so much for joining me today, Cindie. I'm so excited to spend this time with you. I want you to share more about your communication with animals. What story comes up for you?
Sure. Well, I mean, I think just in general, I think a lot of people wonder, what can be accomplished with animal communication, right? And so, there are a number of various reasons why people might want to, invest in animal communication. Any change of behavior that you can't figure out, that's lost animals, I have to say, are really tough. I don't do lost animals, and most animal communicators that work with lost animals also use a tracker, because things happen, like the animal's pissed and they're not ready to come back. And so, you need to kind of balance that out. A lot of what I am called into for animal communication for is behavioral issues. And, that's more dogs than cats. Because dogs just simply can be more destructive. I mean, a cat's not going to take your entire couch down in an afternoon. Relationships between animal siblings, and again, cats are a lot tougher than dogs on this one. Then, physical issues to just help figure things out, right? Because the animal can tell me where or I can feel in my body what's going on with the animal, and kind of help the vet out that way. Anyway, there are lots of reasons.
What do you mean you can feel it in your body?
When I tune into their body, and if they have a sore shoulder, my shoulder feels sore.
Okay.
Yeah. And, which is really valuable, because animals downplay their pain. They absolutely do. And sometimes, especially with cats, you don't know until it's maybe close to the end, because they've been hiding it, both to protect themselves and because they don't want to worry you. And then one I do a lot is, is my animal ready to go to the other side? And that can really vary. And for example, I had 2 horses, and both of them were in a lot of pain, and the vet had suggested putting them down. And, vets are good people. They see the pain, and that's what they have access to, and they don't want an animal to suffer. But when I checked in with them, one of the horses, Tilly, said basically something to the effect of "F no. I'm enjoying the heck out of my life, and I want to keep living it." And then I communicated a desire that she had to be more involved in this person's therapeutic work. A lot of people do equine assisted therapy. And that was kind of life-changing for her, because, she was included, and her person thought she wouldn't, be a fit for that. And she was amazing. And she just loved and loved and loved what she was doing, and, had a whole new purpose in life. Right. And so she ended up living for another couple of years. She crossed a few months ago. And even that last animal communication session, I got this call that's saying Tilly went down in the barn, and she was laying on the ground in incredible pain. She still didn't want to go. And, that's how much her life meant to her. So I get a lot of those calls about, whether or not they're ready to go. I get a lot about one thing that animals commonly tell me is that they don't like their names. And so
really? That's funny.
I'm sure Cocoa Puffs loves his, but
it's King Cocoa Puffs, man, and he walks like he's the king.
You don't get any better than that. That's right. And I get all sorts of like this little mini horse. Mini horses. She's like 1.5 feet tall. They called her Buffy, and she wanted to be called Prima Bella. Although occasionally we could call her Bella for short. And, I had a cat named Stella that wanted to be called Bellissima. So that's something I run into frequently. I mean, that's not the purpose of the conversation, right? But, and then I get...
Well, yeah, that's really important.
It's really important.
It really is. I mean, yeah, my cat Jasmine, I named her Chloe, and she told me she didn't like it. And so I changed her name to Jasmine, and she's happy with that.
Yeah.
She made me change her name when she was a kitten. She was Chloe for a couple months.
Yeah. Well, I've changed my cat's name too. So I named her Gabby, which I still love. And I rarely use, every once in a while. But she told me her name was Althea. And I looked up the origin of the name Althea. It means healer in Greek. And she always tells me that she helps me with my healing work. Yeah. And I know she does. And she has healed me. I was having some neck problems for a really long time, and she never sits behind me on the couch. And she just sat behind me for like 45 minutes. I got up and like I could totally move my neck around.
Nice.
So, and the other one I do a lot of is speaking with animals who've crossed over. It's actually even easier to speak to animals on the other side than it is to speak to people here. And they're, universally pretty happy, very happy. And, it's important for folks to understand that animals don't fear death.
That's a good message.
Yeah, it's like they know it's not the end, right? And they do stay with you. It's just, if the field, the visual field is, a football field long, humans can see about an inch, and, even less with sound, right? So your animals very frequently do remain with you. And you might hear your current dog barking or something, but it's just that we don't see or hear. So, but in terms of stories,
I hear mine.
Yeah, you do. Yes. Well, you're unique. But I was just last week I was working with a couple of cats, and they're both ginger. The red striped cats, and they don't get along. And the female ginger is more the aggressor, and so Rusty, the male, called her a redheaded bee. And animals do swear. Some of them have potty mouths, some of them just occasionally. And then Ginger, when I tried to, speak with and negotiate with Ginger about what was going on and, how could she do things differently, she said, "You don't understand. I'm trying to make a man out of him." So
that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how did that go after that? Did the relationship get better?
They're doing better. They're doing better. And I tried to explain that, making a man out of him by scaring the hell out of him was not exactly conducive to his courage and all that kind of stuff. And cats are the hardest. Dogs, it seems to go a lot easier. But yeah, what I've done before is, what you do is, give them the floor and, say things like, "Tell me about your feelings for so-and-so." And a lot of times, you can find out what the issue is, right? And it's not always visible to the naked human eye. And then you negotiate. Well, are you willing to do this differently? Or, so I've changed a lot of households that way.
You changed ours.
Oh, thank you.
You changed ours. I mean, Cocoa Puffs has my office. It's his room. And he has the front yard to himself for like 8 hours a day. And then he comes in and the other kitties get to go out there.
I
mean, the other kitties get to go in the backyard, but the front yard, everybody wants to go there too, right?
Right.
So at night, they get to go out there. And if someone comes in his room, actually, my niece was spending the night and she came into my office to take a shower and she left the door open. And Cocoa Puffs came into my room, woke me up. And then when I got up, I followed him back to my office so I could close the door.
Oh my gosh.
He didn't want anybody in his room. And if Jasmine comes in, he's like, "Get out of my room. This is my room."
You don't mess with King Cocoa Puffs. Cocoa Puffs, maybe. King Cocoa Puffs,
Yeah, I mean, he's such a character. And, And you helped me understand that those conversations with him,
Oh,
what I had
yeah.
to do for him.
Yeah.
And he's really healthy. He's doing really good.
Oh,
You
I'm
know,
so glad. He's such a
yeah,
sweetheart.
yeah. Oh, I love him so much. So, yeah, he's really amazing. And thank you. So your communication with him really helped me set up the house where he feels comfortable and he's happy.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead.
oh yeah, no, and just a lot of my sessions, and I have the most amazing clients, and most of them want to know how they can support their animals better. And we've really come up with some, interesting stuff. And, just excuse me, about to sneeze. Okay. So much for that.
Bless you.
Thank you. And all sorts of stuff goes on for animals that people don't understand. One day I had a call from somebody whose cat, her daughter had come over with her own cat and stayed for a week. And the cat was like 3 weeks later, still pissed, wouldn't come out of one room, wouldn't let anybody touch him. And they had absolutely no idea what was going on. And as I started to probe and ask questions, it was like, well, the cat was the daughter's cat. And she moved and went away to school, and she didn't take the cat with her.
Yeah.
And then she adopted another cat when she was there.
Oh.
So, and the cat also didn't understand why they were being left. That's why it's important to talk to them. It's like, okay, so-and-so is going to school right now. She's going to be in a dorm room. You can't have cats there, whatever. But anyway, the cat was pissed at them for about a month. And then when I talked to the cat, and he told me a few other things, and they apologized to him, everything changed. Their sweet cat was back. And sometimes you can't, just back to, I just thought of a funny thing I had with two dogs that didn't get along. I went to do an animal communication session with them. And so there was a great big German Shepherd, and then there was a little, a Chihuahua-like dog. And that dog's name is Jade. And, I started to try to, what do you appreciate each other? Tell me about how you feel, what happens, like how support you, how can the other animal support you? And this dog said to me, this conversation ends here. And he went on to tell me how this other dog swindled him in a past life. And there was no way. There was like nowhere to go with that. He was he was holding on to that. He was never going to forget it. And, animals are actually quite forgiving, but whatever happened in that lifetime, he was still pissed. So.
And you wouldn't let it go, huh?
Yeah, so all sorts of interesting things come up. It's like, who would have ever thought your dog didn't like your other dog because he swindled him in a past life, So that's a real, beauty and importance of really probing and exploring and trying to find out what is at the bottom of any particular situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cindie, tell everybody how to get a hold of you. And
Sure.
Thank you so much for being on the show today. I'm super excited for you to come on and share. And the work you're doing with the big cats and the bears and the kitties and the doggies and everything is just absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Oh, it brings me so much.
Amazing.
It brings me so much joy. So my website is heartsonganimalhealing.com. My email is Cindie@heartsonganimalhealing.com. My phone number, I'm in California, so I'm on PST time, 831-332-8464. And I do have a special offer for folks listening to the call. You'll need to contact me directly to schedule, but I charge $159 for an animal communication session, but I'm offering sessions to your viewers for $127. And that goes, you have to book, before the end of October, but just contact me directly and we can set up your session that way.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So this expires October 2022.
Yes, October 30th, 2022.
31st.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much, Cindie. I really appreciate you.
So this has been fun. Thank you so much. Much love to
Thank
you.
you.
Hi, King Cocoa Puffs. I love you.
He sends you kisses. All right, everybody. So let's do some activations. So I want to help you do some activations on anxiety and overwhelm. And you can think about your cats too while you're doing this. And a couple other activations will come in as I'm giving you these activations. So when they do, I'm just going to tell you what they are. I'm going to be pretty silent while I do this. And so think about yourself, think about your cat, any anxiety or overwhelm you're holding or your pet has right now. You can focus on them and you can focus on you because like what Cindie says is they feed off of your energy too. So how you're feeling, they're also picking up and they're incredible healers. And we want to release them from carrying your stuff. So if they're doing healing on you, we want to make sure and support them and to be able to let that energy go so they're not carrying it themselves. And that is, I don't remember the name of that activation. I'm sure it'll come in, but just get centered into your heart and just allow any thoughts or feelings to come up. I find it best if you can close your eyes so you're not getting distracted and you're just allowing the energy. You can't do this wrong. So here we go. So any anxieties or overwhelm you're feeling for you or your pet's feeling, the activation is owner's issues, is when your pet picks up on your stuff. So let's let that go too. Also, healthy boundaries. This is for you and your pet. So just again, just focusing on overwhelm, anxiety, owner's issues. Healthy boundaries. So allowing that feeling of peace, love, joy, and happiness to flow through every single cell of your body. Feeling more alert and calm and relaxed. Feeling that peace, love, joy, and happiness through every single cell of your body. Taking a nice big deep breath. Opening your eyes. So again, I want to thank Cindie for being on the show today. She's absolutely amazing and incredible. Definitely go to her website if you would like some animal communication. I do offer classes with sacred activations that can help you also in healing animals, pets, and people. That's available on my website, and also Akashic Records for animal communication. So if that's something you're interested, that's available for you. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. It's absolutely an incredible day here in the Yucatan, and I hope you are having an absolutely amazing day and feeling that warmth through your whole body of peace, love, joy, and happiness. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you next week here on OM. Bye.
How do you choose to use your time? I choose to walk on a sunny street where laughter, love, and the sunshine meet. I choose to walk on a sunny street. The road is smoother and life is sweet. It's up to you, the decisions that you make. The power is within.